we've been on a hiatus with our podcast for probably, what, 6 months? Has it been 6 months?
Probably.
We haven't really been publishing much. There was a gap of maybe 5 months, and then we started publishing again a month ago, I think. So I think we've got, yeah, anyway, so we haven't done this for a while. So we thought we'd just catch up, talk about where we're at, what our plans are, where we're going with the podcast. We could talk about that, like what the rough plans are with the podcast. Yeah. So where are you at with content, Sanjee? I know you've been we caught up the other week and you're talking about getting back into it, and you've got some videos ready to go, or almost ready to go.
Yeah. That's the situation is. So I recorded a video, and then because it was the first video I had recorded in over 6 months, it took like over an hour to record 10 minutes worth of content. And then it took a really long time, as you noticed, you were saying it's very slow kind of internet connection here sometimes. So and then it took a really long time to upload it. And in the time it took to upload the video, because I'm talking like it took 3 days, Nick. It took
What?
3
Really?
days to upload it. Yeah.
Oh my
Because it's
gosh.
4K, but then the internet's so slow. Like I would just have to leave the laptop on
Dude.
overnight, over multiple days. And I'd have to like figure out ways to stop it from going to sleep, because I think if it goes to sleep, it pauses the upload. Like I'm trying to get stuff into Google Drive kind of upload. So that took a while. And in that time, I thought, I think I can do a better version of this video. So I then uploaded it, then told my editor, actually, don't edit that. I'm going to do another version. Recorded another version, recorded that, got that edited, got it all ready to go. And then I went overseas for a bit. And while I was overseas, I was like, I think I can do a better version of that video as well. So now I'm literally, after we chat today, either today or tomorrow, I'll probably sit down and record a third version of the same video and just be done with it.
Nice.
And I think as well, like, yeah, and while I was uploading the first time I had done the video, I noticed an old video that I had created from last year and had just put into YouTube as like an unlisted thing. And I think I just was waiting to do a thumbnail and I forgot all about it. So there's already a video actually ready to go as well. That just doesn't have a thumbnail.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So it's funny, like you were saying, we've started publishing again as it for the podcast, because a friend messaged me yesterday saying, "Oh, I noticed you guys have started the podcast again."
Really?
I was like, "We're about to," and then it clicked. I was like, "Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're releasing some content."
Yeah. That's pretty funny. All right.
Yeah. So
what's the plan for the rest of the year? Like, are you planning to get consistent, or are you just going to start and see what happens? Like, what are you thinking?
I think I just need to start, see what happens. Yeah. And that's partly as well why I was doing these inspections is I think I need my own kind of a different venue.
Yep.
Where I can just hit record. Like you and I have talked about this, like my current venue, it's very kind of restrictive around, and it's nobody's fault, but the reality is it's just very restrictive around when I can do recordings.
Yeah.
So if I can get my own venue, set that up a bit, and then I can just kind of hit record whenever. I have everything set up permanently. Like I think, again, we've talked about this, the value of having a permanent setup is so good compared to anyway. So I've got to remember, I keep moving my hands and forgetting it is also an audio podcast instead of filling in with my hands. Yeah. But yeah, that's the plan is I think for the rest of this year, it'll be very sporadic. Just put a couple of records out. And then next year we'll be aiming to be a bit more consistent. Yeah. But we've heard that before.
I'm sure your fans will appreciate it. Like I said, my physio still asks about you.
Really? Yeah.
When you're publishing next. So there'll definitely be people watching whatever you put out there.
What about you, Nick? What's the plan for you?
Yeah, more of the same. I think when we caught up, I was saying I was hoping to get the online courses published this year, because that's kind of been my big focus or attempt. I've been trying to focus on a course, but I don't know, man. Like, I feel like I've just been trying to keep up with the content the last few weeks, and I've got, I don't know, it's kind of like the double-edged sword of sponsorships as well, because it's really good because it gives me that base level income, but then it's a bit more pressure, and I have to make sure I get certain videos out, every month. Whereas previously I could have taken time off. So that's adding a little bit of complication as well. So I'm not sure if I'm going to get the course finished this year. I mean, I'm still going to try. We've got 2 months left, a bit under 2 months. But otherwise, I'm still trying to get 2 videos out a week. But I'm trying not to be too religious with it. Like some weeks, if I've just got too much on, or if I'm trying to, prioritize like coursework or whatever it is, then I'm just trying to be okay with not publishing sometimes, or even publishing late. Like I've started doing that a little bit more. Because I don't know, I think I used to see being super religious with the same time every single week was like the most important thing. But now I'm thinking it's actually probably not the most important thing. Like as long as I'm staying consistent, publishing, it's okay. So yeah, just trying to stay consistent, keep making valuable content. I've been focusing a lot more on tutorial stuff. That was a bit of an experiment I started like 3 months ago, and it seems to be paying off. Like some of my most popular videos at the moment are tutorials that I made, and they're also really high paying, like with the AdSense, which I didn't really expect. I thought like I don't know. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe it's because people rewatch them or something.
Rewatch, and they have to watch the whole video too.
Right. That makes sense.
I mean, I haven't done it in a while, but yeah, I also found that was all the how-to videos were sometimes my best performing ones, because I think people would have to watch all of it to see the start to finish, whereas a standard video they might drop off. But go on, that's quite interesting that you sort of doing a few more tutorials.
Yeah. And so I'm trying to pay attention to some key statistics as well. Like I've set it up to sync to my Notion, so I can analyze all my different stats pretty easily. And like CPM and RPM is one thing I'm trying to look at. Because I think it was Alex. I saw Alex Hormozy talk about it. He said that that's one of the stats he pays the most attention to as an important stat, because it sort of gives him an indication of how valuable the viewers are. Because if advertisers are paying for these viewers, then they're probably valuable.
Yeah,
I've been taking that into account. But again, just trying to create more valuable content. At the end of the day, like that's the main focus. Because I also want more engaged viewers, and also people who I can hopefully market the course to once I finish it. So educational stuff helps. It just feels nice. Like I feel like again, some of my my popular tutorials, you get people just saying, "Oh, thanks, this really helps me get into Final Cut." But it just feels really nice. It feels like worthwhile work, rather than just making a video promoting a product or something. It feels like like I'm actually helping someone. So it's good.
yeah, and tutorials are also easy. That's the thing. I actually find tutorials, they're very linear. I think if you're a YouTube person, I've forgotten there's like that 3 or 4 types of content thing, but the tutorials are great because they're very linear. You know how to start, finishing. You add in your own little tips along the way. Surprisingly, you can have like 6 tutorials on the same topic, and there's still an audience for all of them.
Yep.
I remember in the early days, I used to think, oh, is it worth having me doing another tutorial on how to use ComSec or how to use CMC? Because you would, naturally we do the research and we see someone else has already got one.
Yeah.
And then you just do, well, I'll just do it anyway. And then, like I remember my ComSec, how to use ComSec video carried me into monetization. I remember it probably single-handedly helped me get monetized after I started. It just, watch time, repeated views. And I think also the video ended up being like on the back end of someone else's video, like it was a heavily recommended video. And because I published it, it wasn't that popular. And then suddenly it ramped up really quickly.
Yep.
So love tutorials. And that's exciting to hear about the CPMs as well. And you're tracking. This is the thing, like, because I've been away for so long, I'm hearing about how you've like optimized your setup, you've got Notion connected. I'm like, all right, good. This is all things I'm gonna ask Nick about and be like, so Nick, how do I replicate that? You've done the hard work, so what do I now need to do to get on the same level, kind of thing?
Yeah, that's really good. And speaking of tutorials as well, I think the other thing I've been trying to think about, which I think we talked about when we caught up the other week, was just being more authentic. And like, because people are looking for personalities to connect with as much as they're looking for information to learn or to digest, it's like everyone at the end of the day really is delivering the same information. Like there's heaps of Final Cut tutorials out there. Like I'm not really adding anything new per se to the web. It's more people like different styles. Like someone might like my style of creating a tutorial and they might not, and they might like someone else's, they might not. Like even looking at my comments, it's funny. Like some people really seem to not like my delivery. Like it's only a very small number of people really. Like you get the odd person who's like, oh, you talk too fast, or um, you know, this is not for beginners. This is not clear enough, or something like that. But then it's interesting. Like I'll get people like defending me, like the
Yeah.
sub
Yeah.
comments, like, oh no, this is really good. This really helped me. And then other people were like, oh, I really appreciate your pacing, all this type of stuff. So it's kind of like, I think it's a good reminder for me to just make content the way I want to make content in kind of my own style. And there'll be people who won't appreciate it, and there'll be people who really appreciate it. So it's kind of like, yeah, and it makes more sense, and it's more enjoyable for me as well. Like rather than trying to be something that I'm not, it's like I can just be myself a bit more. So I'm trying to lean into that at the moment. Yeah, yeah,
That's good. I like that. And yeah, 100% agree. Like, yeah, it's you talk too fast, you talk too slow, you talk too much with your hands, all these
yeah,
kind of things come up. I actually can't wait. And I'm sure it's probably not far away. Maybe end of next year or something, where YouTube will start, like, we publish a video from a creator point of view, and then YouTube sort of like 30 days in sends you like an AI generated
mm,
summary feedback kind of thing to you, saying, hey, you've had this many videos, this many views, this is when everyone dropped off, and this is the general kind of feel from all the comments if people liked it. Maybe you should do this. That's
yeah,
probably not more than 12 months away where they can
yeah,
just do
yeah.
that for us.
You can set it up already manually. Like I haven't
Perfect.
I haven't fully like gone down that rabbit hole so much. But Zapier or Make? Do you know those
Yes. Yep.
platforms? Yeah, yeah. So
Yep.
I use Make because it's heaps cheaper. So I definitely recommend using it over Zapier. But you can use that in conjunction. You can connect it to the YouTube API, I think it is, and then you can set it up to automatically scan the comments of your videos, import them into a spreadsheet or something, and then just get ChatGPT to email you, like literally email you a summary. So like it's kind of involved to set up, obviously, but I've definitely seen people do that, and I think it's a good idea. Like you say, like it gives you an idea of the general consensus, of your content. And I've been doing that with other creators' videos. So when I'm researching, if I find a video that's along the same lines of what I'm trying to create, I'll just copy like the entire comments list, which can be huge sometimes. Just paste it into ChatGPT and say, what are people, like, where are the gaps? Like, what are people complaining about? What do people want to see more of? What do people like? And then I try and incorporate that into my own content. So, yeah,
That's
AI stuff
brilliant.
is crazy.
Yeah. Whenever I chat to you, I'm always reminded of how much more I need to use AI in anything and everything.
Yeah, yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Well, okay. So products and tutorials, sort of the general feel there. Okay.
What about the podcast? What are you thinking? I
Yeah.
know we talked about it. We caught up, what was it, 3 months ago, and come up with a new plan, but I'm trying to remember
I forgot
exactly.
the plan. I forgot what we talked about when we did that catch up. I I have a feeling because I still feel this is I really enjoyed the deep dives.
Yep.
So I think whatever we do, we should still incorporate some element of doing deep dives. Outside of that, I think I always feel uncomfortable about talking about anything if I'm not creating content.
Mm.
So that's probably why I probably reiterated that. So, but that's good. I think hopefully by the end of the year, feel less insecure about that. But yeah, I don't remember. What was there? Was there anything else that we were sort of like, let's try and do more this, less that?
I think it was just. I think it was more just relaxed rather than trying to teach something. It was more let's just
Mm.
discuss stuff. Because that was kind of, I think, what we both liked about the deep dives was it was just we're kind of discussing what we've learned almost, rather than trying to say to everyone this is how to do it. Like I got a lot out of that. I enjoyed it, because it's like I'm learning stuff, and then hopefully viewers can learn stuff along the way. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. And even like this conversation, like it's just a bit more casual, and because remember you keep talking about Auto Alex's podcast where they just
Yeah.
talk about what they did for the week, like for an hour or
Yes.
something.
Yes. It's crazy. Yeah. I've consumed so much of their content, but yeah, it's like they have I think they call it a V2 channel. So they got the main channel, they got the V2 channel. It's like a 1.5 hour podcast, and there's usually three or four of them. And yeah, the first hour is just them saying, "What did you do since the last time we've talked?" And yeah, because they have interesting, they're doing a lot of stuff. It's like, yeah, I bought
Yeah,
this car, I got this car, I got pulled over by the police.
yeah,
This happened. I accidentally bought a stolen car, and then you're just like, wow. And I would often click on the video just because it's come up, but then I would be like, I would notice the title, and then I'd reflect on. I don't even think this topic in the title came up until like literally the last 5 minutes of the video. And they'll be like, oh yeah, what were we going to talk about today? Oh yeah, okay, this.
that's
And
pretty funny.
then yeah, yeah. So yeah, I agree. Actually, and even just building on that as well, when you're saying around personality, so over time, Auto Alex has, I don't know if they're sub channels, but connected to him is these other channels that have also started up of like his friends. And there's one channel called All the Gear, and they just do random challenges. And so, like, a recent example of a challenge they did was, let's just walk for 24 hours.
Really?
So they're just like, so they're based mainly in England. So they'll just, I think this one they picked a spot in London. They said, let's just start walking from here for 24 hours. And they would, and they'd just chat, and you're like, I'm just watching a video of people walking for 24 hours. And you're right, it's just the personality of these guys that just carries the video all the way to the end often. And yeah, it's really interesting reading the comments because everyone's like, I mean, they started with a low budget, but this is now getting ridiculous. What's next? But everyone loves it. It's like, what is going on here? Yeah. It's got real Peter McKinnon kind of early day vibes where he's like, I'm going to clean my garage. By the way, I'll chat about this too.
Yeah, totally. No, I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot to that. Just it's what people are looking for at the end of the day. I reckon just being able to connect and be part of a conversation, even if it's vicariously, whatever. So, yeah, I like it. I like it.
Yeah. Us two semi dodgy content creators. Well, actually, you're very professional. It's me. It's me who brings down the average.
No, no, I'm still very much getting there, but it's good.
Yeah. All right. Well, good. I like that. So we'll get back into this. We'll get back into actual creation. I actually think it'll be interesting for me to do a video on probably not even a video, but we can do an episode on me reflecting on just the performance of my channel while I
Mm,
haven't done anything.
mm, mm,
Because
mm,
there is still money coming through, which is very interesting.
mm.
It definitely doesn't crash complete. It crashes, but it doesn't die
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's
if you
really
don't
interesting.
post.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe that's how we could do it. We could just pick topics like that and then just have a conversation about it because I'd be interested to go in depth about it.
yeah, yeah, and yeah. I think it is interesting. Like, I think for my channel, like the video that I've now done will do 3 times, is really reflective of where probably I'm at. Is this idea of the boring middle around investing, where there's a flurry of content and ideas when you start budgeting, what to do with excess money, where do I invest, all of that. And then you realize very quickly, if you do the maths, it's actually now going to take 20, 30 years of just steadily doing the same stuff to hit the target. So what do I now do? And I think I've seen a few people in my space, they just go on making more videos about ETFs. And I'm like, I can't, it's only so much you could say about ETFs. They're designed to be very basic. So that's where I think also I'll blame that as well for the reason why there's quite a delay between videos for me. Was I realized I had reached a point where I felt like I had covered a lot. of
Yeah.
the relevant stuff, and anything more, I was going to become like a news channel
Right.
or just a repetition channel. So yeah. Actually, you know what? One type of video I've not seen a lot of content on. It's probably purely algorithm, but I haven't seen Mr. Beast videos come up on my feed.
Oh, right.
Surely he's still around, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know he had a lot of controversy going on for a little bit there.
Yes.
So I don't know if that's influenced it. But I mean, I was sort of checking his videos periodically, and he seemed to be still getting the same views. So I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't really heard much about it lately.
Yeah, I think recently I've been getting a lot of election, US election stuff, various
Mm,
random topics, but yeah, I remember his videos would always at least be in, on the homepage for me, but I think over
right,
time it's kind of dropped off and understandable though. I think a lot of his videos I watched because it felt like I should watch,
right.
but then at the end of the day they're probably not videos I would actually be as interested
Yeah.
in.
I think my homepage now is just like it's all like home networking stuff and videography stuff. What else? Podcasts, like a whole bunch of podcasts.
Yeah.
That's about it, really. I feel like it goes through phases where I sometimes I go down rabbit holes, and then that's all I get recommended on my homepage, and there's nothing
Yes.
to watch. But I think it's pretty good at the moment. But yeah,
Yeah. I often have to discourage my algorithm or the algorithm from showing me Formula One content because I
yeah,
know
yeah.
I
Same.
see it. And then it's like, oh, you're into F1. I'm like, yes, but don't keep showing me because I really don't want to keep watching it. It's not that good.
I just don't want the spoilers. That's why I don't want to recommend it,
Yes.
because I don't want to know. Because I swear, in F1, I don't know why they always have the results or what happened, or I think it's the shock value or something on the thumbnails and titles. So, and especially, I don't know if you know F1 with Matt and Tommy, I think it is, or something like that. P1 with Matt and Tommy.
P1, yeah, I've seen some of that, yeah.
Yeah, they always have spoilers on their thumbnails. It's just like, I just try not to watch any of their YouTube content because otherwise I'll find out early before I watch
Yeah,
the race.
yeah. The other worst one is so Champions League, the European soccer
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
competition, where it's just the worst thing in the world. Where they'll put the score in the thumbnail. So you're like, okay, I'm watching the future come into play. It's crazy. It's actually interesting. Yeah, it is interesting reflecting on homepages over time. I'm almost got an idea of like I should almost take a screenshot of my homepage every month or so and just be like, yeah, this is, it'd be interesting to kind of reflect on. This is what the state of my mind was back then. Yeah, yeah.
Totally. But also, connecting it back to what we said earlier, I think it reminds me to not be afraid to just do my own thing, because it's going to get recommended to people who are interested. People who aren't interested, it might get recommended to them, but then they'll stop watching, and you know, you'll get your own audience. So